Alright, good afternoon grade 9s. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a quick video on the excretory system, and so we're just going to be looking at some of the structures, and we're going to be looking at some of the processes that happen in the kidney to produce urine. Okay, so when we look at the excretory system, the excretory system is basically made up of two kidneys. Okay, so a kidney is got this kidney bean shape. That's why it's called the kidney bean, because it has that shape. Okay? And each kidney, we have two kidneys in our body. Each kidney has a tube that is exiting from that kidney. Okay? And that is transporting urine into the bladder. And in the bladder, there's going to be a storage of urine. Okay? So here we have our kidney. We have these two tubes that are exiting the kidney. Now these two tubes, the names of each one of these two tubes is the ureter. Ureter. Okay, so there we have the ureter. And urine is then transported from the kidney where it is produced into the bladder where it gets stored. So the bladder is responsible for storing the urine. And the elimination of that urine takes place out of a tube called the urethra. Okay? So we have two ureters, two kidneys, two ureters, one bladder, one urethra. Okay, and so what the function is of the purpose of the kidney is to basically eliminate waste. That's the purpose. That's what the whole excretory system is responsible for. It's the elimination of waste and the production of urine. We need to get rid of this waste because it is toxic. So I'm just looking for some pens. Okay? We know, grade 9s, that blood is responsible for transporting the waste to the kidney so that filtration can take place. So we have blood that enters into each of these kidneys. We have a blood vessel. Okay, in grade 9 you don't need to know the name of this blood vessel, but for kind of interest's sake, this is called our renal. Renal has got to do with kidney, so the word renal means kidney. Wherever you see that word, it's renal, and it's an artery. It's a renal artery. It is bringing oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood to the kidney. However, grade 9s, that oxygenated blood has got lots and lots of wastes. There's a large amount of waste products, and so what happens at the kidney is a process to eliminate those wastes. Now that process that happens at the kidney is called filtration. So filtration. We remove all of the waste products from the blood, and so that the blood that is returning from the kidney has got a very low amount of waste in it. And so this is blood coming into, okay? Now blood leaving, unfortunately I don't have a blue, I don't know what's happened to my blue pen. Anyway, let's use purple, okay? There is deoxygenated blood leaving the kidney on each side, okay? Now I'm running out of space, but don't worry too much about that. So this has got deoxygenated, oxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood, but it's got very, very little waste. Little waste products. And that is because those waste products that have been filtered from the kidney are now being eliminated or released in the urine. And so the kidney will filter that, it will send that urine to the bladder, and ultimately we eliminate that bladder, or we eliminate the urine out of our bladder via the urethra. So there's a number of steps that happen along this process. So let's quickly talk about those steps this afternoon. That's what I wanted to look at. The first thing is the delivery of the blood. So blood comes into the kidney. Once the blood has been brought into the kidney, it needs to be filtered. So step 1, we have filtration. Filtration is making sure that any substances that need to be eliminated are brought into the kidney so that we can eliminate that. In grade 11, We'll look at that process in a little bit more detail. But for grade 9, you just need to know that filtration happens. And when filtration does happen, grade 9s, unfortunately, we don't only filter bad stuff. Okay, so we filter out our wastes, but we can also filter out water, salts, and then a whole bunch of good things like glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. And this leads us to step number 2. So step number 1 is filtration. We filter out substances. And during the process of filtration, potentially we don't only filter out the bad things, we can also filter out some of the good things. And so this leads us to step number 2. So step number 2 is referred to as reabsorption. Reabsorption. Now what happens during reabsorption? That's basically saying, okay, all the bad stuff, we've got rid of the waste and we've got rid of these things that we don't want, and we want to eliminate that, urea, uric acids, and creatinine, and a whole bunch of things that we don't want, ammonia, we want to eliminate. And so we get rid of all of those wastes, but we want to reabsorb. So we take back, we reabsorb back into the blood our glucose, our amino acids, our fats, and our vitamins and our minerals. We don't want to lose this stuff. In other words, we don't want that stuff to be used in making our urine. Instead, we reabsorb all of that stuff. Okay? Are we all happy? Well, you can't answer me, but anyway. That leads us to step number 3. During step number 3, we have regulation. Regulation happening. The kidney is responsible, regulation. The kidney is responsible for regulating water and salt. Okay? Water and salt. Basically, if you lose too much water, your body wants to keep some of that water so that you don't lose it in the urine. If you don't have enough salts, it wants to regulate. It's kind of saying, okay, well, we don't have enough, we need to keep some, or we've got too much, let's get rid of it. So on a cold day, for example, if you've not been sweating, so you haven't been eliminating or losing water via sweat, you're going to urinate more because you've got too much water, you can eliminate it. But on a hot day when you've been sweating and losing water, your body goes through this process of regulation. Now this regulation process is called osmoregulation. And that's specifically for water. So osmoregulation. And osmoregulation is the regulation of water, and that's important for you guys to know. Salt is not really given in terms of a name, but we do regulate salt. And that leads us to the last step, step number 4. Once we've done everything, so we've filtered our blood, we've reabsorbed all the good things, we've regulated our water and our salt. Now we're on to step number 4. This is distribution of the urine. We distribute the urine from the kidneys to the bladder, and ultimately excretion can take place. And so we eliminate these waste products from our system via the urinary system. Okay, and so grade 9s, that was today's lesson. I hope you guys are well and looking after yourselves. Cool guys, thanks so much. Bye.